Hello everyone, my name is Francis. Today I'm going to train you on the scheduler for IMS. Now to access the scheduler, you can either hit your F9 key on the keyboard, that's the shortcut key, or else you can just click on the icon that you see on the application toolbar to open up the scheduler. So this is the scheduler entry screen. Now just a brief description. On the left hand side, you have the calendar available. You can move through the dates by just clicking onto the dates. If you want to move a month forward, you can click on the single arrow key. Same way, if you want to go ahead a year forward, you can hit on the double arrow key. To go back into the dates, you can go ahead and click on the backward arrow key. The double arrow key would take you a year backward. The single arrow would take you a month backward. The moment we deviate from today's date, there's a T that appears in the center. Now the T would just help you to get back to today's date pretty easily. Just click on the T and you're back to today's date. Okay, so helps you to get back to today's date pretty easily without scrolling through dates. Below that you have your office and the provider that you're going to schedule for. Now in case you have multiple offices, you'll have a drop-down list of all the offices out here. You can select the specific office. Same way, if you have multiple providers, you'll be able to see all the providers. You can select the specific provider and then start scheduling. Under that, you see the number of appointments for today. Whichever specific day you select, you'll be able to see the appointments for those specific days, the number of appointments. Now we have different views available of the scheduler where if you, since we are in the day view now, if you want to go ahead and check out the weekly schedule for this doctor, for this specific office, you can just click on the week and you'll be able to see the weekly schedule. Same way, if you want to check out the monthly schedule, just click on the month. Now if in case you want to see all the providers, if you have multiple providers and you want to see all the providers under one screen, the schedule under them for that specific date, you can just click on all and go to all providers. Okay, so it's that simple. Now coming back to scheduling. If you want to go ahead and schedule a patient, all you need to do is just double click on the center screen on the time slot and a scheduler entry screen will open up. Now say patient calls me, says I want an appointment at 9:30. So I'll just go ahead and double click on 9:30. It will open up the scheduler entry screen. Now on this screen I have a search option available. So I can just go ahead and type in the last name, a few letters of the last name for the patient, and it will pull up the patient if the patient exists in my database. If in case it's a new patient, you have an option to go ahead and add a new patient in. If you know it's a new patient, you can just click on add patient. What it will do is open up the patient master for you where you can go ahead and you can add the patient in. Now by default your doctor is selected. All the fields that are marked with an asterisk are the mandatory fields that have to be filled in. Chart number is one field that you have two options for, where you can either put your own chart number or else you can just leave it for the system to generate one. Else you just go ahead and fill it. Like the provider is selected, I just go ahead and I'll put in the first name, the last name, the date of birth, gender, street address and zip. I can also put in the phone number as well so that I can go ahead and call the patient later. Right, so once you're done, you can just save the information. You can close out of the screen. This is how you'll add a new patient. Now taking an example where it's an existing patient itself, I'll just go ahead and type in a few letters of the last name and hit the tab key on the keyboard, and I'll get a list of all the patients starting with that last name. I can go ahead and select the patient. The reason for visit also can be selected. If you know the reason for visit, you can go ahead and select it from the drop-down list that you have. As of now, I'll just go ahead and select blood draw. If you want to assign any room to the patient, you can go ahead and do that as well. Now case information, by default the system will take a general case because this is an office visit. If in case it's a different case where it's a workers' compensation or a motor vehicle accident, you can go ahead and you can add in the case details from here itself. Just click on the case and the case master will open up where you can go ahead and you can select the case type as workers' compensation. Go ahead, put in the start date, put in a description, put in the hospital or facility, and then for specialist you can go ahead and put in the referral doctor as well, referred by whom. Once you're done with this, you can just save this information and you can select the specific case. That case information will be available in the drop down list over here, and you can select that specific case then. Right? Authorization number again. For certain procedures you need authorization number in the case where it's a specialist. For certain procedures you might require authorization. So what the system will do is just keep a track of all the authorization numbers. To add in an authorization number in the system, you can go ahead into authorization number. Okay, let's just go ahead and enter a case. Go into authorization number. The authorization master, you can go ahead and select the insurance for the patient. Put in the authorization number. Now CPT, whether it's for one CPT or for a CPT macro that you've created, if you have different CPTs that you've taken, you can create a CPT macro and then go ahead and select that CPT macro. And you can put in the CPT over here. You can also go ahead and search for the CPT. If you don't know what the CPT is, you can search for the CPT by clicking on this. Do a percentage and search, and you'll get all the CPTs. Alright? Then, once you're done with it, how many number of visits has it been approved for? The from and to date, from what date to what date, if there's a time limit on it. And then the priority is nothing but if you have taken authorizations for different CPTs, you can go ahead and you can set the priority accordingly. You can just number them and which one do you want to be in the priority list. 1, 2, 3. You can give them numbers. Once you're done with it, you can save that information, and that information will also be available over here. Okay. Then the appointment reminder, the IVR system. What it will do is it will actually go ahead and remind the patient prior to the schedule appointment for the patient. It will call the patient up in your own voice, and it will actually remind the patient of the appointment that the patient has on the specific day. You can go ahead and set this up as well. Then once we're done, we can just click OK, and the appointment's booked. Right? Now we have different right-click functions available as well. Right-click functions which will help you to go ahead and double book. If your office provides double booking, we can go ahead and we can double book a patient. We can click on double book. Same way it will open up in a scheduler entry screen. Now you can search for the patient again. Hit the tab key. It will search. Just select the patient. Select the reason for visit. And click OK. Now this has popped up because this patient has another appointment as well. It's showing you what date the patient has an appointment on, and do we want to go ahead and actually continue with this appointment as well. I just go ahead and click yes. It will again pop up. Schedule is already defined at this time. Do you want to continue? Since I'm double booking, yes, I will go ahead and continue. So this is how it will go ahead and double book. Now the right click functions, you can also go ahead. Now say for example this patient calls up again. Undenier calls up again and says, I probably won't be able to make it on the 21st at 9:30. Can you go ahead and book me a week, 2 weeks later for the same time at 9:30? So what I'll do is, instead of going ahead 2 weeks later and setting up this appointment by finding the patient again, all I can do is simple features what Windows have is just right click on this. I cut this appointment from here. I go to the next month, Thursday 4th, to the 9:30 slot. Again right click and just paste it. It will ask me for a reason. I can put in a reason. Just for just our own records. Okay, so this is how we can do it. Again, if patient says, oh, I want an appointment on the 4th as well as the 11th at the same time. In this case, again, if I go on the 11th and double click, it's going to be a little difficult. So all I can do is again, right click, copy this appointment, go to the 11th, 9:30 time slot, right click, and paste again. Again, it will show me the scheduler entry screen where I can go ahead and I can re-verify the details and click OK. Again, it's popped up a message saying that patient has a schedule defined for these dates. Do I still want to continue? Yes. Right? That's how simple it is. Now, other right-click functions also include if patient calls up and says, I want to cancel the appointment. You can go ahead, you can again right-click and you can go ahead and you can cancel the appointment. If patient calls up and says, I want to cancel the appointment, in case where the doctor has too many schedules lined up and doctor can't actually see the patient, if doctor says, please cancel the appointment, the doctor can go and you can put in cancel by provider as well. Now also it happens sometimes you need to go ahead and block off time slots. Now maybe there's a meeting or something urgent cropped up and you need to go ahead and block off time slots. Yeah, so in that case, if it's multiple time slots, you can go to multi-block reserve and you can go ahead and block off the time slots that you want. Say for example it's 12 to 1 that you want to block off, so you'll just go ahead and single click and select the time slots from 12 to 1 and it's already showing block out here. You'll just put in a reason and click on block reserve, okay, and close out of it. And if you see, it's already blocked off. If you want to go ahead and unblock them again, you do the same thing. You go to multi-block reserve and you can go ahead and unblock them. Now even if you try to double click, nothing's gonna happen, right? So again, if I want to unblock, I'll go, this single unblock slot will just unblock this slot, single slots. So if you want to unblock all the slots at one go to multiple block reserve again, select the time slot and click on unblock on reserve, and there you go, disappear. So that's about scheduler. Now before I end, again another important feature that I would like to tell you about, where you get a scenario when patient calls up most of the times and says, hey, I don't remember my appointment, can you help me out and let me know when my appointment is. Now rather than scrolling through all the dates possible and searching for the patient's appointment, it's pretty simple to actually go ahead, once you're in the scheduler itself, on the top over here on the scheduler you have the patient appointments. Yeah, so you can go click on the patient appointments, put in the patient's name and hit the tab key, select the patient, and you'll be able to see all the past, present as well as the future appointments for the patient. And you can go ahead and advise the patient about the same. When does the patient have an appointment? You can also print off an appointment card for the same. Right? So that's about scheduler. I hope this session was useful, and if you want to know any further details, you can log on to our website. That's www.integritymedsys.com, and you can check out the other details as well. Thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day.